My name is Shamika, and I'm doing an analysis project. And my analysis basically explored the portrayals of women in the media that has evolved outside of the old traditional norms using Spike Lee's Netflix She's Gotta Have It. This project will highlight the leading character, who is Nola Darling, and her positive impacts towards the third wave feminist movement. So during this analysis, I studied three themes. So during my thematic analysis, I studied each themes by writing down themes in a notebook. I watched each episode twice, and the reoccurring themes that I saw in each episode, and I will do examples, are gender equality, sexuality, and political engagement of Nola Darling and how she interacted with different characters in the series. So the first theme is gender equality. And so in episode 1, which is hashtag the jump off, for the third feminist movement, the introductions was to the various men that she has been sexually active with. And this represents the diversity of a woman. Like, the nature of a woman is not to be stereotyped to only one type. And so glass ceilings basically start the stereotype of a woman, and it challenges the gender normalities such as the housewife, the soccer mom, the mistress. So each man she spent time with represented a different piece of her. So Mars represented the fun, the unpredictable side of Nola Darling. Jamie represented the housewife phenomenon, that represented the woman who does want to settle down. And Greer represented the freedom of sexuality. So this one is what you would deem your friends with benefits, is what we categorize it now. And also in episode 1, we learned the different languages that were derogatory against women. So, for example, in the episode, Nola Darling did not like the term freak because she's a pansexual. And so this is a sexual positive term that means sexual orientation and gender does not matter. I like who I like, and it doesn't matter if they're a man and I'm the opposite sex. It doesn't matter if I'm a woman and they're not the opposite sex. I like what I like. So if I like you, I like your character, I like your personality, I like how you look. This is what I'm attracted to, and this is what I deem to be attractive. It's not supposed to be based off of your sexual orientation. So women can find any gender attractive without the approval of the opposite sex. Theme 2 is sexuality, and we learn more closely in episode 3, which was titled Little Black Dress. So Nola did try to regain positive liberation from buying a $500 little black dress in this boutique. The price tag represented the power, and there was plenty of black dresses that were far more cheaper than the one that she sought out for in the boutique, but the price represented something way much more to her. Also in this episode, her friend and relationship partner at the time was Opal, which was a woman, and she suggested to look for another black dress in another store that could be cheaper. She did try to remind Nola also of the rent she spent in the Fort Greene location in Brooklyn, but this did not matter to Nola Darling at all. And her representation of the little black dress was women can choose whatever style clothing, and men should not allow clothing to justify their behaviors and their poor decisions. based on their urges. So, for example, Nola stated in this episode, if you can't control me in this little black dress, then you can't have me, which basically said men need to learn to think with their minds and not their genitals. Political engagement was really important throughout my thematic analysis because in each episode, it highlighted some very important topics. And in episode 9, it was titled Change Gonna Come. And this was all about gentrification. And for years, gentrification has been a process that was all about the high rate of residents in one particular area. And regentrification can improve the quality of neighborhoods, and but it does create a negative impact that most people do not highlight, and meaning that the influx of prices go up in the area, and schools change, and they force an influx of people out. Nola Darling and her partner Mars did go to jail in this episode because of the Black Lives Matter movement was also reflected in the regentrification episode. And so we learned through this thematic analysis that women are constantly looked at by their negative language. And the negative language meaning, oh, she has more than one sexual partner, she is a freak, or she has a dominant personality, so she is sassy. And so we have all these varying languages that are counted against us. And if you study the character of Nola Darling, she's not just a woman who is sexually liberated, but also she is a woman that challenges gender norms to a different standard. It's not your typical challenges of gender norms, because she is able to handle these relationships. It does spiral out of control, and I'll let you view those episodes for yourself. However, it does challenge way more than gender norms. It does challenge more than sexual freedom. And I chose to highlight Nola Darling because she wasn't your typical housewife. She wasn't your typical mistress that was on television. And this is very important in our discussions.